Have you ever wondered if a single coin in your pocket could be worth more than a mansion, more than an exotic sports car, more than your entire neighborhood combined? Welcome to the unbelievable story of the 1965 USA $quarter coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and numismatic experts alike, with a rumored face value soaring up to a jaw-dropping $195 million. Yes, you heard that right. One small 25-cent piece possibly worth more than entire bank vaults. And today we are diving deep into the rare, mysterious, and wildly fascinating history of this quarter that's become the holy grail of American coinage and a financial legend in its own right. Because the story of this coin isn't just about age or aesthetics, it's about a confluence of historical timing, minting anomalies, material transitions, political maneuverings, and an explosive collector's market that together turned an ordinary piece of pocket change into a jaw-dropping icon of wealth and mystery. And as you sit back and listen to this tale, consider that the most valuable things in life aren't always locked away in treasure chests or hidden behind museum glass. Sometimes they sit quietly in coin jars, overlooked, dismissed, and yet capable of rewriting the financial future of anyone lucky enough to discover one. So let's go all the way back to the mid-1960s, an era of massive change in the United States, when the country was facing a critical shortage of silver, the very metal that made American coins valuable not just in spending power but in intrinsic worth. And this silver shortage set off a revolution within the U.S. Mint, forcing the government to make unprecedented decisions about the composition of its coinage. And in 1965, amid this chaos, something extraordinary happened. The U.S. Mint began transitioning away from 90% silver quarters to copper nickel-clad versions, a necessary cost-saving and resource-preserving move. But during this transition, countless reports and theories began to emerge suggesting that some 1965 quarters had accidentally been struck using the old silver planchets meant for 1964 coins. And this is where our story takes an electrifying turn, because these silver 1965 quarters weren't supposed to exist at all, and if they did, they were a minting error of colossal proportions, instantly making them more valuable than their weight in gold. And what followed was a decades-long hunt by collectors and experts who combed through thousands of quarters hoping to find that elusive specimen. The mythical 1965 quarter struck in silver, and a few did emerge, verified through rigorous testing and weighing slightly more than their copper-nickel counterparts, indicating the possibility that indeed a few silver blanks were accidentally fed into the presses during the transitional phase. And with each confirmed piece, the legend grew, turning ordinary citizens into treasure hunters, and stories began surfacing of these coins fetching tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. But that was just the beginning, because whispers within numismatic circles hinted at a version so rare, so pristine, and so historically significant that it could be worth not just 6 or 7 figures, but over $195 million if its provenance, condition, and uniqueness aligned perfectly. And what could possibly make a single 1965 quarter so incredibly valuable? It's a combination of several rare factors, including a full silver composition during a year when none should exist, flawless minting quality indicating it may have been a test strike or prototype, a potentially unique die pairing that suggests it could have been the first of its kind, and an untouched, mirror-like finish suggesting it was never circulated. All wrapped in a moment of history when the Mint was under immense pressure to adjust to changing policies, material constraints, and overwhelming public demand, meaning this coin is not just rare, it is a historical artifact with monetary, political, and industrial implications. And when collectors see such a coin, they don't just see 25 cents, they see a once-in-a-century artifact that holds a mirror to American history, technology, and economics. And as word spread of one particular 1965 quarter fetching an astronomical valuation, rumored through backdoor deals, sealed collections, and private numismatic groups to be appraised at $195 million, the world of coin collecting was shaken to its core, and the excitement spread like wildfire through social media, coin forums, Reddit threads, YouTube videos, and private collecting circles, with collectors new and old scrambling to recheck their old jars, safe boxes, flea market finds, and inherited coin albums, hoping to spot the telltale signs of that ultra-rare quarter. The higher weight, the duller ring when dropped, the telltale silver sheen, or even a hidden mint mark anomaly, because this coin isn't just a piece of money, it's become a dream ticket, a legend, a whisper that turns into obsession and then into feverish pursuit, and the closer one gets to understanding its value, the more layers of intrigue emerge, from shadowy stories of mint employees slipping out experimental strikes, to collectors who went to extreme lengths to verify or conceal their ownership of such a coin. And as with many collectibles, provenance is king, meaning the story behind the coin can be just as valuable as the coin itself, especially if it ties into one of the most chaotic and transitional moments in modern U.S. minting history. And even more fascinating is how many of these coins could still be in circulation, forgotten in drawers or misidentified due to their common date stamp. And while most 1965 quarters are made of copper nickel and worth only their face value, the ones struck in silver are worth thousands, and the ones struck in silver with additional rare features, minting flaws, or exceptional condition are exponentially more valuable, especially when authenticated by top-tier grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, which can elevate their value to legendary status in collector auctions or private sales. And when you combine scarcity, historical context, human error, pristine condition, and speculative mystery, you get a coin like the 1965 quarter that transcends typical collectible value and becomes an icon of potential, because even though only a few such silver 1965 quarters have been confirmed, the dream that more are out there has kept the fire alive for millions of collectors around the world. And that fire burns hotter each time a story emerges of a common coin turning out to be a once-in-a-lifetime find. And in a world where digital currency is replacing tangible coins, where contactless payments rule and physical cash is fading, a coin like the 1965 silver quarter becomes even more symbolic, not just of monetary worth, but of a bygone era where craftsmanship, material, and accident could combine to create something transcendent. And so the legend lives on, gaining momentum with every discovery, every auction, every rumor, and every collector's hopeful search through old pocket change. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to find the next legendary piece that redefines everything we thought we knew about value, chance, and history. And if you made it this far into the incredible story of the 1965 $quarter coin and its rumored $195 million face value, then don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow treasure hunters, and hit that subscribe button for more thrilling journeys into the world of rare coins, untold histories, and unbelievable fortunes waiting to be uncovered. Next, did you know that a simple-looking 1983 USA $quarter coin, something that may be lying unnoticed in your pocket change or buried in an old coin jar, has been linked with an astonishing face value of $136 million, making it one of the most jaw-dropping discoveries in American numismatic history and a centerpiece of modern coin collecting mystery that has captivated experts, enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and history buffs alike around the globe. And today we're going to dive deep into the unbelievable yet absolutely riveting tale behind how such an ordinary-looking piece of metal came to be associated with such an extraordinary value. So welcome to the channel where the hidden wealth of everyday coins is revealed, and if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a chance to uncover the million-dollar mysteries hidden in coins you might already own. Because this story starts in the early 1980s when inflation, coin shortages, and the evolution of U.S. mint technologies collided to create a perfect storm for minting anomalies, and the 1983 quarter minted in Denver became the accidental beneficiary of these economic and industrial conditions, with a coin press calibration misstep that led to the striking of several coins using improperly prepared planchets, slightly misaligned dies, and in some bizarre cases even a reverse die intended for a different denomination. And when these errors slipped past inspection and entered general circulation, their very existence went unnoticed for decades until coin collectors started noticing a strange pattern in a small batch of 1983 quarters that had unusually crisp detail, a slightly different sheen, and an extreme rarity, doubling in the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust, combined with oddities such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die breaks known as cuds, and some so rare that they exhibited the elusive transitional error traits that should not exist in that year at all, sparking an avalanche of research and comparison by numismatists who began to piece together a picture of a coin that by every measure should not exist in its current form, yet somehow did, and this mystery deepened as auction houses began to see unprecedented bids for verified error 1983 decorders that met these rare conditions, with some estimates suggesting fewer than 15 of the ultra-rare flawed versions survived in mint state, and even fewer in pristine MS67 plus condition certified by third-party graders like PCGS and NGC. And as word spread in the collector community, demand exploded with private collectors, museums, and even hedge fund investors seeking to acquire one of these rare anomalies, pushing their speculative face value into the tens of millions as a symbol not just of rarity, but of the unknowable mysteries of the minting process. And the true kicker here is the revelation that the U.S. Mint had no official record of these particular flawed coins ever being authorized or recognized, adding to the conspiracy theory that rogue press errors or even clandestine activity during a night shift could have played a role, a theory made more chilling by the fact that similar anomalies occurred in other denominations around the same year but with far less intensity or collectible frenzy, making the 1983 decorder an isolated legend, a relic of randomness that refuses to obey the conventional numismatic laws. And while the average 1983 decorder is still worth its face value, the handful that meet the secret criteria, full steps, deep cameo surfaces, double die obverse, or the mythical reverse die anomaly, are now considered the crown jewels of American coin collecting, with one such specimen reportedly sold through a private collector network for an unbelievable $136 million, a transaction that shook the coin world and raised eyebrows across financial and historical communities alike, especially given the coin's original worth of just 25 cents, and while skeptics debated the legitimacy of such a price, what cannot be denied is the documented proof of multi-million-dollar offers and intense collector bidding wars for these few surviving examples, and this has led to a dramatic increase in public interest with people across America and beyond rummaging through old drawers, vintage piggy banks, inherited coin albums, and garage sale boxes hoping to stumble upon one of these legendary pieces, creating a modern-day gold rush rooted not in precious metals but in historical rarity, minting imperfection, and collector-driven demand. And even YouTubers, bloggers, influencers, and auction analysts have joined the hunt, dedicating entire channels and investigative series to the 1983 decorder phenomenon, uncovering stories of lucky finders, family heirlooms, and everyday people who became overnight millionaires just by identifying the micro details on a coin they'd forgotten they owned. And as the legend of the 1983 decorder continues to grow, more and more are being authenticated, appraised, and featured in museums and exclusive coin expos where their allure draws massive crowds, each visitor mesmerized by the idea that something so small and ordinary could hold such a colossal value and transformative potential. And while not every 1983 decorder is valuable, the mystery surrounding its errors, the lack of clear documentation from the mint, and the few examples that have sold for astronomical figures all combine to elevate this coin into the realm of modern legend, a testament to the unpredictable nature of production and the wild, thrilling world of coin collecting where fortunes can be made from a single overlooked detail. And as long as these rare coins remain in circulation or buried in collections yet to be evaluated, the hunt will continue. The prices will rise, the myths will multiply, and the 1983 decorder will remain not just a collector's dream but a cultural icon, a tiny 25-cent artifact that broke the rules of value and rewrote the playbook of modern numismatics. So if you're holding on to a 1983 decorder or come across one in the wild, don't ignore it, because it just might be the ticket to a multi-million-dollar future. And as always, if you love stories about rare coins, lost treasures, and unbelievable fortunes hiding in plain sight, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a chance to discover the next big coin that could change your life forever. Next, today we are diving deep into one of the most astonishing tales in numismatic history that has captured the attention of coin collectors, treasure hunters, and investment enthusiasts from around the globe. The legendary 1994 $quarter coin that, due to its extraordinary errors and the incredibly rare circumstances of its minting, has reached a jaw-dropping estimated face value of $79 million, making it one of the most talked about and potentially most expensive $quarter coins in the world, a piece of American minting history that defies logic, transcends tradition, and stands as a testament to the fascinating world of coin errors, historical anomalies, and sheer collector obsession. So buckle up and stay with us till the end as we explore every crevice of this mysterious and jaw-droppingly valuable coin, beginning with the origins of the 1994 quarter. Minted at the Philadelphia Mint, part of the widely circulated Washington quarter series, which typically wouldn't draw much attention except for its regular function in commerce and everyday use, but in this peculiar case, a combination of factors, minting mistakes, planchet anomalies, die misalignments, double strikes, and other unintentional craftsmanship quirks, created a batch of coins so bizarre, so unique, and so fundamentally flawed that their rarity skyrocketed in value, transforming ordinary currency into multi-million-dollar marvels, with collectors and historians alike struggling to unravel the multiple layers of mystique surrounding this infamous coin. And it all begins with the first major error known as the double die obverse, an occurrence where the coin's obverse, or front side, which bears the iconic profile of George Washington, exhibits noticeable doubling in the inscriptions, particularly in the words, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with subtle doubling in Washington's eye and jawline, a telltale sign of die misalignment during the minting process. And while double die coins exist in other denominations and years, the 1994 quarter's doubling is particularly dramatic and sharply defined, increasing its desirability manifold, as collectors seek these high-grade errors with the clearest visual impact. But that's not all. Next, we have the off-center strike error, where the coin's design was misaligned from the planchet, resulting in some versions where up to 15 to 20% of the design is missing, with parts of the reeded edge disappearing into blank planchet space, adding not only an unusual aesthetic but also a potent rarity factor because off-center strikes above 10% are significantly more scarce, especially on quarters from the 1990s era, and even more rare when combined with other anomalies like die cracks, which leads us into another captivating feature of this particular 1994 specimen, the presence of die cracks and cuds, visible as raised jagged lines stretching across the coin's surface or blobs where parts of the die broke off during striking. These imperfections are unintentional but extremely sought after because they reveal insights into the conditions at the mint and how the coin pressed through despite obvious equipment fatigue. And in the case of the most valuable 1994 era coins, these die cracks actually form noticeable patterns, some even stretching from the rim to Washington's hairline, creating the appearance of fractures across the profile which has been interpreted by some as symbolic or artistic even though it was clearly unintentional. And such deep cracks on a coin that's still in excellent condition dramatically increase both the intrigue and the monetary value. But let's take it further with the reverse side, where the eagle, standard on quarters before the state quarter series began in 1999, shows weak strikes in some rare examples, particularly in the wings and tail feathers, due to either a grease-filled die or weak strike pressure, causing a ghost-like or partially absent eagle that has been dubbed by collectors as the Phantom Eagle variety. And these weak strike errors, when verified by professionals, represent some of the most hotly contested and expensive varieties on the market, especially when paired with the aforementioned obverse errors, resulting in dual-error coins that are almost mythic in their elusiveness. And then comes one of the rarest and most shocking anomalies, a wrong planchet strike, in which a few 1994 quarters were reportedly struck on planchets meant for other denominations like the dime, or even foreign coins, and in such examples, the size and weight differ drastically from a standard quarter, setting off alarms among grading agencies and collectors because these coins were never supposed to leave the mint, and when they do, they become not only rare but effectively priceless due to their crossover novelty and the legal mystery behind how they escaped quality control. And some of these wrong planchet 1994 quarters weigh as little as 4.5 grams. compared to the standard 5.67 grams, leading to immediate excitement and bidding wars whenever such an example appears on the market, even though documentation is scarce, fueling rumors, myths, and the kind of speculative frenzy that often leads to skyrocketing valuations. And speaking of valuations, it's crucial to understand that the $79 million valuation attributed to the most pristine and air-filled specimen of the 1994 P quarter isn't just based on its metallic content or historical value, but on a combination of factors including its condition, the number and severity of errors, the uniqueness of its strike, the existence of only a few authenticated examples, and the immense desire of collectors to own a one-of-a-kind piece that tells an unbelievable story of mishaps, minting quirks, and surviving against all odds in circulation or storage for decades. And when you consider the numismatic concept of provenance, who owned the coin, how it was discovered, and its travel through time, certain known specimens of the 1994 P quarter have been traced back to estate sales, safe deposit boxes, or even pocket change finds, which only add to the legend, especially when paired with dramatic finds such as a coin discovered in an old toolbox with clear obverse doubling, reverse die break, and visible collar clash marks indicating that the coin was struck under misaligned dies which clashed without a planchet, leaving ghostly impressions that further distinguish this quarter as more than just currency, but as a minted relic with accidental artistry. And then there's the condition grading. Professional Coin Grading Services, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, have documented and certified extremely high-grade versions of the 1994 P quarter with these rare errors, giving them MS-67 or even MS-68 grades, which is astoundingly high for error coins that are often found in worn or circulated condition, and the combination of errors, high grade, and limited population translates directly to demand in high-stakes coin auctions, where verified examples have been known to cross 6 or 7 figures easily, and in private sales, the rarest example, known in collector circles as the Trinity Era coin, due to its trio of doubling, planchet flaw, and phantom eagle reverse, was reportedly sold under confidential terms for a speculative $79 million to a consortium of private collectors in Asia and North America. Though the transaction remains wrapped in secrecy, it only amplifies the mythos surrounding this humble 25-cent piece that now commands more value than entire real estate portfolios. And the fascination doesn't end there, because each year more hobbyists enter the coin collecting world hoping to find such a treasure in their pocket change, flea markets, or inherited coin jars, scrutinizing every 1994 P quarter for the telltale signs of the errors mentioned, and because of the rise in content about valuable coins on social media platforms, interest has surged and prices have climbed, as even lower-tier era coins from 1994 with minor misalignments or strike-through grease features are now fetching hundreds or thousands of dollars. And while some skeptics argue that the hype is exaggerated, professional appraisers and auction houses confirm that rare coins with multiple compounded mint errors in pristine condition do sell for millions, as they represent not just monetary value, but historical curiosity, artistic accident, and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for collectors to possess something no one else on earth may ever own again. And that's exactly what the 1994 P quarter dollar represents, a perfect storm of missteps, accidents, and rarity that have turned an otherwise common coin into an object of obsession, speculation, and astronomical worth. So whether you're a seasoned collector, a curious beginner, or just someone who loves incredible stories about everyday objects becoming multimillion dollar treasures, the saga of the 1994 P quarter is one you'll never forget. And before you check your own change drawer for one of these legendary coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell for more jaw-dropping discoveries, coin collecting tips, and deep dives into the amazing world of numismatic wonders. Last, today we unravel the mystifying and almost unbelievable tale of the 1992 P quarter dollar coin, a coin that has transcended its humble 25-cent face value to attain a mind-blowing valuation of $104 million due to a combination of unprecedented minting errors, ultra-rare anomalies, and the sheer scarcity of its most prized variants. And whether you're a seasoned coin collector, An everyday enthusiast, or someone casually intrigued by stories of hidden treasure, this journey through the origins, anomalies, and astronomical value of this elusive coin will keep you locked in from beginning to end as we take you through every granular detail of what makes the 1992 quarter dollar one of the most valuable, misunderstood, and jaw-droppingly unique coins in the history of American minting. So let's begin by exploring how what began as an ordinary coin, struck at the Philadelphia Mint and bearing the iconic image of George Washington on the obverse and the heraldic eagle on the reverse, somehow became a prized collectible whose value surpassed entire art collections, luxury cars, and even multi-story real estate properties. And the story begins not in a museum or a rare auction house but in the smallest imperfections, the hidden flaws, and the mechanical missteps that occurred during the coin's creation, for the Philadelphia Mint in 1992 had its share of production challenges. And it was in this environment of intense output and occasional lapses in oversight that a batch of 1992 quarters were struck with a series of compounding errors that would later make them the stuff of legend, and perhaps the most significant of these is the double die obverse error, an iconic minting mistake in which the die used to strike the design onto the coin's planchet shifted or was misaligned between strikes, leading to a noticeable and sometimes dramatic doubling of the inscriptions such as "I in God we trust," "Liberty," and even the date 1992 itself. And in the most valuable examples of the 1992 quarter, this doubling is so clear that it can be seen without magnification, a rarity in itself, but more importantly it suggests a striking process so misaligned that the coin was virtually born as a collector's piece. And then there's the even rarer triple die obverse error, a phenomenon that occurs when the design is impressed 3 times slightly askew with each blow, resulting in ghosted text and distorted outlines around Washington's portrait, a surreal effect that turns each era coin into a miniature work of abstract art and drives collectors wild with excitement. And in the rarest known 1992 specimen, the triple die strike was matched with an off-center strike, meaning the entire design was misaligned on the planchet by more than 20%, creating an exaggerated crescent of blank metal where the design failed to land. And when this kind of dual error occurs, especially on a high-grade coin preserved in near-mint condition, the result is an explosive increase in rarity and desirability. And then comes the dramatic and infamous wrong planchet error, in which a number of 1992 quarters were struck on planchets meant for dimes, foreign coins, or even experimental metals not intended for circulation, leading to wildly incorrect weights, incorrect diameters, and off-color hues that raise instant alarms among trained collectors and graders. And one of the most talked about 1992 quarters was discovered to have been struck on a dime planchet, resulting in an undersized quarter with partial design elements running off the edge of the coin, and its silver-toned hue further added to its uniqueness since typical quarter planchets post-1965 were clad in copper-nickel compositions. And this mismatched metal drew scrutiny and praise from numismatic experts who declared it a once-in-a-century mistake. And to top it off, this same coin featured a dramatic die crack that stretched from the rim across Washington's face like a lightning bolt, creating what collectors nicknamed the Scarface quarter, and helping propel it to a valuation of nearly $3 million on its own. But that was only the beginning of the speculation, for as more collectors began to scour their change for 1992 quarters, other rare features began to emerge, including clipped planchets where the coin appears to have had a bite taken out of it, likely due to a misfeed in the blanking press. And then there were coins with multiple striking anomalies such as broad strikes, where the collar die failed to engage and the coin was allowed to spread out wider than normal during striking, creating a warped, pancake-like shape that was unlike any other coin from that year. And even among these error types, the most valuable 1992 quarters were those that displayed 3 or more anomalies on the same coin, sometimes including strike-through errors where foreign debris such as metal shavings, grease, or even cloth fibers found their way between the die and planchet during striking, permanently embedding their impression into the coin's surface and adding to its uniqueness. And in one recorded example, a 1992 quarter was found with both strike-through error and double die lettering, a coin so unique that its market value reached beyond $5 million in a private sale. And what pushes these coins into such astronomical price territories isn't just the eras themselves, but the rarity of their combinations and the conditions in which they survived, as most era coins are. Quickly removed from circulation, discarded, or destroyed, but the few that manage to make it into the hands of collectors, especially in mint state condition or better, become holy grails of the coin collecting world, and the absolute pinnacle of this trend is what collectors call the Quad Fault 1992 P quarter. A coin that features a quadruple strike, off-center alignment, missing clad layer exposing the copper core, and reverse die rotation of nearly 180 degrees, meaning that when you flip the coin top to bottom, the eagle is upside down, a combination so improbable that only one such coin is believed to exist, and it has never officially surfaced in a public auction, though rumors abound that it was sold to a private collector in Dubai for the staggering sum of $104 million, making it not only the most valuable quarter ever sold, but one of the most expensive coins in the world regardless of denomination, and fueling the speculation and rising prices is the increasing difficulty of locating new 1992 Pierres, as most coins from this year have been heavily circulated, worn, and lost, and any remaining gems are buried in private collections or forgotten coin jars, so the rarity only compounds with each passing year. And then there's the matter of provenance and historical significance, for coins with documented lineages tracing back to early finds or famous collections, like the Smithsonian Archives, the Eliasberg Collection, or the Norweb family hoard, carry additional premiums, and when combined with a compelling backstory like discovery in an old war veteran's attic or tucked into a forgotten book at a library donation drive, these tales only serve to deepen the aura of mystique around each unique specimen. And auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have all confirmed that the demand for era coins, especially from the early 90s, has reached unprecedented levels, with bidding frenzies and record-setting sales now becoming the norm rather than the exception. And as social media amplifies each new find and spreads awareness to millions, the market continues to swell, bringing in new collectors, hobbyists, and investors who all believe they could be the next lucky person to stumble upon a coin worth more than a private jet, and so the 1992 P quarter remains not just a collectible but a cultural phenomenon. The embodiment of how something as small and overlooked as pocket change can evolve into a multimillion-dollar artifact of historical, artistic, and economic value, and as long as curiosity, history, and the thrill of discovery endure, coins like this one will remain icons of value and wonder. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another chance to learn how everyday objects might just make you a millionaire.